Everybody, and welcome to another World of Warcraft live developer Q&A. My name is Josh Allen. Joining me, as usual, game director Ian Hazekostas. Ian,
great to be here as always.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going? So we have a ton of questions that came in. We're going to start off with a few questions about everyone's favorite recent topic, which is AZERITE armor. I know we've been saying a lot about AZERITE armor recently, but just getting some clarifications out here would probably be good.
Sure.
So let's get into it. First question comes from Azamain, who asked,
during the last update on AZERITE armor, you mentioned adding another ring with spec-specific traits only. Will items be set up so that the same trait doesn't appear more than once between the two rings? So we posted recently that the new AZERITE gear being added in Tides of Vengeance will have a fifth ring on the outer edge.
Exactly, yes, from the Battle of Desire lore and the subsequent Season 2 gear from Dungeons and PvP. So yes, there's an extra outer ring that has 2 spec-specific AZERITE traits per spec, so that's up to 8 unique traits if you are a druid with 4 specs, 4 if you're a demon hunter, 6 for most people. And no, those will always be different than the single spec-specific trait on the one that is currently the outer ring. So effectively you're going to have access to 3 different traits out of 6 or 7 total available. This will triple the availability of any given trait, so if you've been looking for, I just really want at least 1 point in this thing that increases the radius of my healing area, increases the uptime of my shot, and the power area, whatever, and depending on this one, it's just, having one set of
balance between specs so that I avoid other but there's some pretty good ones that came in. Question here from Anti, who said, are tanks being looked at?
Tank balance is definitely something the team is looking at. We agree that both Brewmasters and Death Knights are probably have a bit too much in the way of overall survivability compared to other tanks. On the other end of the spectrum, Protection Warrior and Guardian Druid feel like they're lagging behind. I think at the same time, I think it's also important to frame the discussion of what tanks bring to the picture. And yes, damage taken per second or external healing required, that's a very real metric, and that's one that we want to be relatively balanced overall, recognizing there's some tanks that are going to be better against magical damage, some tanks that are better against physical damage. There's some different sources and nuances there, but at the end of the day, if you feel like you can't keep tank A alive
Okay. Question from Darkani, who said, Resto Shaman are
shit.
So healer balance, also on our radar. I think Shaman feel like even in their situations that are optimal for them, they're still often coming out behind, say, Disc Priests. Disc Priests are something that really very much emerged in the last month, because they have a very, very high skill ceiling in particular. It's interesting, if you look at Heroic Uldir, of trying to surface or message those in ways that are clearer to raid leaders, to pug leaders who are trying to evaluate who they should bring. And finally, sorry, I know I'm kind of rambling here. That doesn't mean, none of what I said should be taken to mean that we don't think there are numbers problems as well. There also are those, but it's we want to take a multifaceted approach to the problem.
Okay. Question from Hex Zero, who said, the current PvP meta of everybody having tons of self-heal plus insane burst damage and healing, controlling the flow of battle, has left quote-unquote rock classes in the dust. Unholy DKs and affliction locks feel useless. Any plans to address? Cool. Fronts in the future. Cool. Got a couple questions about allied races here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one comes from Sicarius, who says, how do you think the Siege of Zuldazar raid layout will affect the world first race, since Horde and Alliance will have bosses in different orders?
There are going to be some mechanical differences. There are going to be some differences here between the two experiences. And, I know that will cause some debate over, does the world first really matter if this was different than what the other faction was doing? I think I trust the community to figure that out. And if the answer is, hey, for this tier, we're going to say there's a Horde first and there's going to be Alliance first, and people can argue over which one was real or which one was more, impactful, so be it. Super cool watching Method do it live through Uldir last month. But we're building our raids to present an epic experience, to tell a story, to, create engaging and immersive battles for millions of players. And we're always going to prioritize the depth of that experience over the nuances of the race. While it's something that we take into account, we wouldn't throw out an otherwise, I think, pretty cool idea to really deliver this asymmetrical faction experience through raiding just because it might cause some controversy over who the real world first was.